time to ask the vet with VitaPet's vet, Dr. Lauren Bleaken, who today is going to share her expert advice and tips on something all pet owners have to deal with as they're not nice to have in the household: fleas. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Lauren, from your beautiful home in Wellington.
Hi Carly, thank you for having me.
We did a couple of weeks ago feel like he potentially had fleas. He was scratching a lot. How common is it for our pets to have fleas?
Yeah, it's really common, and I think unfortunately there's this mindset that you only get fleas if you're unhygienic and that you're a gross person if you get fleas. And no doubt fleas are a bit creepy and gross, but it is actually something that everyone will likely experience at some point in their pet ownership journey. So it's something we need to be aware of and manage as part of having pets.
And what are some of the health issues that fleas can cause for us and our pets?
So there's a couple main health issues that we see from fleas. One is that they can actually develop what we call flea allergy dermatitis. So this is where an animal will actually develop a bit of a hypersensitivity reaction to flea saliva as it gets injected when they're feeding on the animal. So, flea bites, I think we've probably all had one at one point in time. They're very itchy, and so it becomes even itchier for these animals. So it's excruciatingly itchy for them. So we see scabbing, we see hair loss, they will be chewing at themselves nonstop. It actually becomes a welfare issue. So that's the most extreme thing we see with fleas generally. But the other thing to be aware of is that fleas are what we call an intermediate host for tapeworms. So when animals are grooming, we see that they do this sort of nibbling motion, particularly cats, as they're grooming, and they actually are swallowing fleas as part of doing that grooming. Not very nice, but fleas have part of the life cycle of the tapeworm in their own gut, and then when they go into our animals, they complete that life cycle, and that's how we get tapeworm infestations in our pets. It's important because it's actually a risk for us as well. Humans can get tapeworms from their pets. It's what we call a zoonotic disease. So by treating fleas and staying on top of fleas, we're actually helping with parasites as well from the gastrointestinal point of view.
Okay, and luckily today, Dr. Lauren, I've got a real life exhibit here for me to check to see if my pet has fleas. What should I be looking for?
So when we're looking for fleas on our pets, it's important to remember that there's actually, we call it the flea pyramid. So there's only 5% of the flea population on our animal as a live flea. So if you only have a mild case of fleas, you might not even see them on your pet, or if you do, they're going to be very tricky to find. They're very quick and they move through the coat very quickly. So one thing you can do is you can use a flea comb. The reason for using a flea comb is that it's got really fine bristles, and what happens is as you push that through the coat, the fleas actually get stuck in the bristles, and you can see them stuck there. So that's one thing you can do, particularly focusing around the base of the tail on the back. That's an area we usually find fleas. The other thing you can do is you can search for what we call flea dirt in the coat. So if you think your animal's looking a little bit dirty, if you parting the fur, you'll see these sort of black gritty bits, and that's actually what flea poo. Again, a little bit gross. But if you're not sure if it's dirt, has my pet just rolled in the dirt, or is it flea dirt, you can take a paper towel, take a little bit of that dirt and sprinkle it onto it and put a drop of water on it. And flea dirt will rehydrate and dissolve and get a pink tinge to it. And then you know you're looking at flea dirt, which means even if you haven't seen a flea, there's fleas on there somewhere. So a good thing to know to look out for.
Okay, so Dr. Lauren, I'm trying to comb through Alfie at the moment. If I saw a flea, how quickly does it become a problem? How quickly do they spread?
Yeah, really quickly. So one adult flea can lay 50 eggs a day, and your typical flea's lifespan can be up to 130 days. So it becomes an exponential population explosion really quickly. And also, again, that pyramid, if you're only seeing 5% of the population as adults, and you've got one of those adults doing 50 eggs a day, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. It's phenomenal how quickly it can get out of hand.
Okay, I've got a couple of products here. I'm sure you can tell us more about them as to how and when we should be treating for fleas. One's for a cat and one's for a dog.
Yeah, so we need to look at both the how and the when. So when it comes to the when, yearly, all year round, but then bearing in mind the efficacy of the product. So with a product like Evance, it's once every 4 weeks. And we need to be doing that every 4 weeks to make sure that we're keeping that efficacy on board the whole time. As for the how, so with Evance, it's actually distributed through the oils of the coat of the animal, and it will kill any fleas on your pet within 1 hour of them hopping on board. An important feature of the product as well is that it kills on contact, so the flea won't actually have to bite the animal for that flea product to start working. So we're discouraging the need for biting, and that's important with those flea allergy dermatitis animals, where we're not wanting them to get more bites than they need to. And the product also stops the flea from biting within 3 to 5 minutes of contact. The nice thing about the killing on contact as well is as they shed fur and dander into their environment, that's actually going to kill the larval stage of the flea that we find in bedding and in the environment. So you're breaking the life cycle and actually killing 2 life stages at the same time. And the other important thing is it's very important to weigh the pet. So I know that sometimes my perception of my weight versus reality aren't necessarily in alignment. And I think we transpose that onto our pets. So it's important to get a weight off your animal. With dogs, you can usually take them to your local pet store, or most vet clinics are very happy for you to bring your cat or dog in, no charge, and get them weighed. But flea treatments aren't effective if we're underdosing them, which is generally the problem, that we're not treating to their full adult weight.
Now, often the first sign of fleas for us humans to notice is the fact that we're getting a wee nips around our ankles or things if we're sitting on the couch. How should we treat our environment for fleas? And every time we're treating our dog for fleas, should we be treating our home the same?
Yeah, if you're getting you're getting bites around the ankles, you do want to get into the environment. So that's where something like a flea spray can be really helpful. So we've got something like VitaPet carpet and bedding spray. So this kills your adult life stage as well. So you're not leaving it just up to your pet to sort of treat the whole problem. The other thing as well is that when we're looking at the life cycle, so we've got your adult fleas and then eggs. Eggs make up 50% of the flea population that you have in your home or in the environment, and vacuuming actually removes up to 90% of eggs. So if you're flea treating your pet using a pet spray and vacuuming, you will actually be getting the majority of the life cycle under control in one go. Something to be aware of with cats as well is they're really clever at getting into very strange nooks and crannies. So they like to go in the crawl space under our homes. We'll find them sleeping up in shelves in garages or in attics. And those are really great places for fleas to live. So it can be really important to treat the environment in those places, because they'll just keep going out and picking up fleas from those reservoirs. That's where your flea spray can be really handy. You do need to be careful with flea sprays. They're quite safe for cats because of the concentrations that they're at, but we still don't advise spraying them in a closed space with your cats, making sure that the product's dried before you let the cats back in. And I wouldn't put it straight on their bedding. You also don't need to put it on their bedding, because Evance, as they're shedding those skin and hair into their bedding, you're treating the bedding that way, so killing on contact. So it's not necessary to treat their bedding.
Oh, this is all such great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Lauren.
No worries. Thank you so much.
And the VitaPet range of flea treatments are available in supermarkets nationwide. And for more expert pet advice, head to vitapet.co.nz. Alfie's quite happy now. He's gone to sleep after receiving all that advice.